Hi there. Welcome to our next session on Java networking. In this session we will discuss about Java networking terms, IP address, port number, MAC address, connection-oriented and connection-less protocols, sockets, socket programming lab, and different classes of networking with practical. First of all, we would discuss about networking in Java. Java networking is a concept of connecting two or more computing devices together so that we can share resources. Java socket programming provides facility to share data between different computing devices. Now let's talk about the advantages of Java networking, sharing resources, and centralized software management. Now let's talk about the various terminologies related to networking. We would discuss each term in details. The terminologies are IP address, protocol, port number, MAC address, connection-oriented and connection-less protocols, and sockets. Our first topic is IP address. An IP address, abbreviation of Internet Protocol Address, is an identifier assigned to each computer and other device like printer, router, mobile device, etc., connected to a TCP/IP network that is used to locate and identify the node in communications with other nodes on the network. IP addresses are usually written and displayed in human-readable notations, such as 172.16.254.1 in IP version 4. It is composed of octets that range from 0 to 255. It is a logical address that can be changed. Now let's have a look on protocols. A protocol is a set of rules basically that is followed for communication. For example, TCP, FTP, Telnet, SMTP, POP, etc. Now let's discuss about port number in networking. The port number is used to uniquely identify different applications. It acts as a communication endpoint between applications. The port number is associated with the IP address for communication between two applications. A port is always associated with an IP address of a host and the protocol type of the communication, and thus completes the destination or origination network address of a communication session. A port is identified for each address and protocol by a 16-bit number, commonly known as the port number. For example, an address may be protocol, TCP, IP address, 1.2.3.4, port number, 80, which may be written 1.2.3.4:80 when the protocol is known from context. MAC, Media Access Control, address is a unique identifier of NIC, Network Interface Controller. A network node can have multiple NIC but each with unique MAC. A Media Access Control address, MAC address, of a computer is a unique identifier assigned to network interfaces for communications at the data link layer of a network segment. MAC addresses are used as a network address for most IEEE 802 network technologies, including Ethernet and Wi-Fi. Logically, MAC addresses are used in the Media Access Control Protocol sublayer of the OSI reference model. Now let's have a look on connection-oriented and connection-less protocols. In connection-oriented protocol, acknowledgement is sent by the receiver. So it is reliable but slow. The example of connection-oriented protocol is TCP. But, in connection-less protocol, acknowledgement is not sent by the receiver. So it is not reliable but fast. The example of connection-less protocol is UDP. Now let's discuss about sockets in networking. Java socket programming is used for communication between the applications running on different JRE. A network socket is an internal endpoint for sending or receiving data at a single node in a computer network. Concretely, it is a representation of this endpoint in networking software, protocol stack, such as an entry in a table, listing communication protocol, destination, status, etc., and is a form of system resource. Java socket programming can be connection-oriented or connection-less. Now let's see an program for socket programming. Java socket programming is used for communication between the applications running on different JRE. Java socket programming can be connection-oriented or connection-less. Socket and server socket classes are used for connection-oriented socket programming, and datagram socket and datagram packet classes are used for connection-less socket programming. The client in socket programming must know two information: one IP address of server, and two port number. Now let's see it with an example. I have already created programs for server and client. Let's see my server.java file. First of all, import java.net package and IO package. Then create a class with name myServer. In this main method, create an object of server socket class and pass a port number in its object's argument, like I did. In this program, port number is 3333. Now create an object of socket class and associate accept method of server socket class to the object of socket. Now create the object of data input class to get the message from the console. You can see it on your screen. Get the object of output stream class to send message to console and create strings that should compare to stop the connection. Now let's see into my client.java file. Create it as it is shown on your screen. Create the object of socket and pass the server information. In this example we are doing on localhost, so I would pass the server name as localhost, with port number that has been given in server program. Create the object of input data stream and output data stream classes for sending and receiving messages from the console. Make sure you are copying the program as said. Now save the programs to a folder. I named the folder as socket. Open two separate command prompts and move to the folder's location on your command prompts. You can see on your screen. Now compile the both files. On first screen run my server file, and on other run my client file. You can see whatever I am writing on client's screen, it is shown on server. Now server responds to the client. This can be used to make online chatting. It will remain active unless you don't give stop message. Once it gets the stop message, the client and server's console get back to its prompt. Now let's discuss about URL class in Java. The Java URL class represents an URL. URL is an acronym for Uniform Resource Locator. It points to a resource on the World Wide Web. In this example you will get the information about the URL that you pass. It will give you all the essential information regarding the URL, like protocol, host name, file name, etc. Let's see the example. I have created a program with URL demo class name. Create an object of URL class and pass your website's full URL or address, as shown. We have methods of URL class by which we can find the host name, protocol, file name, etc. I have used it to show it. Write the program as shown. Save your file and compile it. Once you run the program you can see the output as host name, file name, as you can see on your screen. Now let's see URLConnection class. The Java URLConnection class represents a communication link between the URL and the application. This class can be used to read and write data to the specified resource referred by the URL. Let's understand it with an example. Write a program and create an object of URL class, and in its object pass the URL or address of any website, of which you want to see its source code. Now create the object of URLConnection class and associate OpenConnection method with the object of URL class. Now the URLConnection class is having the source code. You need to print it. You can do it on console or any file you want. In this example we want to see the source code on the console. Write the program as shown. Save it, and compile it. Now run it. Make sure you have active internet connection. Now you can see entire source code of the web page is shown on your console. Now let's see HttpURLConnection class. The Java HttpURLConnection class is HTTP-specific URL connection. It works for HTTP protocol only. By the help of HttpURLConnection class, you can information of any HTTP URL such as header information, status code, response code, etc. The java.net.httpURLConnection is subclass of URLConnection class. Let's see it with an example. Create an object of URL class and pass the URL or address in its argument as shown. Now create the object of HttpURLConnection and execute OpenConnection method with URL object and typecast it into HttpURLConnection object. Now you can get HTTP header key and value. You can print the information as shown. Now save your file and compile it. After compilation, run your file and you can see the output as the different headers and its values on your screen. You can get informations like date, set cookies, content type, cache information, etc. Now let's discuss about InetAddress class. Java InetAddress class represents an IP address. The java.net.InetAddress class provides methods to get the IP of any host name, for example www.java@point.com, www.google.com, www.facebook.com, etc. You can get the IP address of any website by using Java InetAddress class. Let's see it by an example. Create a class and create an object of InetAddress class and pass the host name or URL. InetAddress class has getHostName method and getHostAddress method. You can use these methods to get the host name and address of the URL. You can see it on your screen. Copy the program and save it. Compile your code. Now run your code, as now you can see the host name and address of the host name is shown on your screen. Make sure you should have active internet connection. Hope you liked this video. We will learn about database connectivity with Java programs using JDBC in our next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.